64% of your company was put up on sale, and we learned that RCS&RDS has bidded for that. Can you comment on that?
I'm aware of the fact there's been a lot of speculation. There's been a lot of speculation in the press here in Hungary, and there's been a lot of speculation in the press in Romania. And as a publicly listed company, if anything happens in terms of us selling the company, or if one of our shareholders sells a big block of shares, then obviously we'd have to make an announcement immediately to the stock exchange. And that's the situation. So the fact we haven't made any announcements, then clearly there's nothing happening or happened. But it would be wrong to say there isn't. There's always been interest in this business. But whether or not TDC would ever sell their shares, I really can't comment, because that's up to TDC.
But can you comment on the scale of RCS&RDS versus your company, and if it's possible or probable that RCS&RDS can acquire?
If you look at the RCS&RDS's business, I mean, here in Hungary, for example, they're a relatively small cable operator, but they have a relatively big satellite TV business. I mean, I think their satellite TV business has around 500,000 customers. Obviously, in Romania, you know them very well. But in terms of whether they would be interested in acquiring our business, I really couldn't comment. I mean, you'd have to ask them. I mean, there's certainly, what I can say, there's no specific discussions going on today with RCS&RDS. Just to put our organisation into context, our parent company is called Hungarian Telephone and Cable Corporation, but we don't really use that name. We trade as Invitel. But our ownership, we're actually listed in America on the Amex exchange, although that changed yesterday because the Amex exchange was acquired by the New York Stock Exchange. So as of today, we're actually listed on the New York Stock Exchange, because that now incorporates this Amex. Amex was a smaller exchange which got acquired by the New York Stock Exchange. So we're a publicly quoted company in America, although 64% of our shares are actually owned by TDC, who's the main incumbent operator in Denmark. Okay, but you can go and buy HTCC shares on the stock exchange in New York. Invitel's, as I said, the main name under which we operate. And then we've got a number of subsidiary operations that are separate legal entities, but really part of the overall family. Obviously, Euroweb Romania is an important member of the group. We've got other subsidiaries in other countries in the region. We acquired Tele2's business here in Hungary, and that's now called Invitel Telecommunications. We have an outsourcing business here in Hungary, which is mainly supporting one of the big oil companies, which was called Invitel Technicom. And then most recently we acquired Memorex's activities in Central and Eastern Europe. Over time, probably some of these separate entities will merge into Invitel, but day to day we're all part of the same family. So just to give you an idea as to the size of the organisation, overall we have sales of about 400 million euros. Our gross margin is just under 300 million euros. So we have about 1 million customers. Obviously a large proportion of those are residential customers here in Hungary. And in the group overall, we've got 1,500 people. About 200 of those are outside Hungary. Probably 250 probably are outside Hungary, either in Romania, some in Austria, or some of the other countries in the region. If you look at where our business comes from today, and this is looking at our margin, our gross margin, About 30% comes from the residential voice business. Obviously that's almost all inside Hungary. 28% comes from the business segment, and obviously that's a major part of the Euroweb Romania operation, but the business segment is very important to us overall. About 28% comes from the wholesale market, so that's where we're providing services to other operators, and that again is an important part of the Euroweb Romania business. And 11% comes from mass market or residential internet. Again, obviously a large proportion of that is inside Hungary. So we're quite diversified between the residential market, the business market or the corporate market, and the wholesale market. Okay, so that's what we look like today. Thanks, Greg. In terms of our strategy, I think we've probably covered most of these points, but it's relatively straightforward. We want to maximise the business we get in our traditional concession areas, take advantage of the growth in broadband, of which there is still plenty of potential throughout the region, grow our share of the business market, grow our regional wholesale business based on our extensive regional network. We keep looking at opportunities for consolidation. As you saw at the beginning, this organisation has come about through a lot of consolidation both here in Hungary and in the region. And we've been quite open about going and doing acquisitions and integrating those businesses. It's important nowadays to have some scale, because obviously telecommunications gets more competitive and you do need to be big enough to invest. So this consolidation process, I think, will carry on, and there are some other opportunities. And looking further forward, the other area that's interesting for us is the convergence of fixed and mobile. So today we're very much a fixed line operator, but we recognise that in the future people will want to acquire fixed and mobile services from the same company. In that particular area, the thing that's interesting at the moment is that there will possibly be a fourth licence available here in Hungary, which will obviously be interesting to us, just as I think the fourth licence was recently auctioned in Romania. So that's basically the direction that we're going in.
Ion Baciu from Mobile Communication Magazine. Do you intend to become in the near future first mobile virtual network operator in Romania?
In Romania?
Yes, in Romania.
I'll let Laurenţiu answer that.
Yeah, maybe the question comes from the fact that Euroweb was a part of the consortium which participated in the bid for the fourth license. As a part of the agreement, Euroweb could at that time deal for the first mobile virtual operator license. But as you might know, Romtelecom was granted with this license, so at this very moment we cannot go further for this action.
It is legal to become a mobile virtual network operator in the, I don't know, the
it's
next
legal
year.
to be registered like this, but the license itself, you should take it from an operator, which makes totally different things for us. No, we're not going to go for this.
Okay.